Hello there my YouTube friends. So as you can see, I've got a couple of boxes to open and have a look at today, and as you can see by the way they've been done, they look like they're from the same company. I have ordered a few different times from this company on eBay. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know what's in these boxes because I've ordered so much stuff of late that I don't recall where I've ordered different things from. You know, as you've seen, there's already been a few videos gone up of some of the stuff that I've already opened. I've got a funny feeling that I might know what one of them is, and if it is, I'm going to be happy as Larry with it. But the company is, I'm sure it's called something like Loontentoys, something like that, from China. And like I say, I've ordered from them in the past because they're pretty much doing things at retail, and sometimes every now and again you'll get something at below retail. So we're going to get these things opened and at least see what we've got and go from there, guys. Whether I'll open one in this video or whether I'll leave it as just an opening, like a box to show what they are first or not. But let's get these things on me bench behind you and get them opened up and see what figures are actually in these boxes. And here they are, guys. These are the two that I've managed to get. The helmet in the middle, I've had that for about, I think just over a week now, but I didn't bother doing an unboxing video or anything on it. And it might actually surprise you to know that it's come from Wish. Yes, the one where you don't normally get anything that looks even remotely like what you've ordered. That I don't think is too bad, considering that's a 1-to-1 scale one. It does fit on my head nicely. Obviously it's not as good as some of the ones you can get out there, but for the fact that what I paid for that compared to what you pay for most of the other ones that's out there, you know, you're paying like hundreds of pounds out for them. I paid what? I think that worked out at, when I got it shipped, just over 30 quid. I'm happy with it. I think it looks okay. Yes, I might end up respraying it slightly to make it look more realistic, but if you look at the Mando helmet that's on there, that's not too bad. You know what I mean? It's not that bad at all. So I'm quite happy with that. But there you go, guys. That's the two figures I've getting. We've got the actual Mandalorian with his old armor before he gets the Beskar armor, and we have Rocket. Now Rocket was the one that wasn't really on my radar. Wasn't really that bothered, but didn't really sort of thing it. But I thought, well, for the price that Loontentoys had him up for, you know, I was like, okay, I think this one might be a decent enough buy, because the simple fact is, I don't like the idea when you've got a character, obviously because they're in 1/6 scale, so he's going to be literally probably about what, maybe 4 or 5 inches tall, something like that. And I don't like the idea of paying out £200 to £300 on a figure that's literally tiny. You know, I'm just one of those guys that's like, no, that ain't worth that price. You know what I mean? Not for something that's 4 or 5 inches tall. I'm not going to pay 200 odd quid for it. So I got him, obviously, as you can tell, cheaper than the 200 odd quid. Mandalorian here, he, again, if you look online now, for what prices he is going for, it's like £300 and above all the time. It's very rare you'll see him under 300 quid in the UK. You in America, guys, you've got it better than what we've got over here. You know, you might be able to pick him up for $270 odd, $280 odd, maybe $300, which works out, you know, the equivalence over here of well under 300 quid. Over in the UK, you are lucky if you can get him for under 300 quid. I have managed to pick him up for basically what would be retail, maybe slightly below retail, just by literally waiting, biding me time, and I've managed to fucking get him, and I am happy as Larry with that. I cannot believe that I managed to get these two figures basically for what, maybe it's about under 400 quid. You know what I mean? Basically, that's the thing. It's not very often you can do that. Get two figures of these scales at that price, especially with this guy at the minute. This guy's hot property. He's hard to get a hold of. Yet I've managed to get him for basically what would be almost classed as retail price, you know. So I am well happy. You know, I am well and truly happy with that. So anyway, guys, what do I think? What should we do? I mean, obviously, this one's the one I can't wait to get open, because that's the main one I was after. But I think what we'll do is we'll get this guy open, have a look at him, see what he's like, and then leave this one for another video, guys, because I want to spend time with this one. I'm sort of looking forward to getting into that one. So let's get this guy open, see just how good he is, because I love this artwork. This artwork looks fantastic. So let's move him into the middle. We'll move the Mandalorian out of the way for now, and we'll get into looking at Rocket. You'll have to excuse the fact that maybe, just behind me here, you might hear Bruno snoring away. He's sitting in my chair, sitting in my nice comfy chair in the man cave, busy shooting Zeds behind us here, so you might hear him snoring the odd time, and I apologise for that, but that's the way it goes when you got pets. This front cover, I think it looks absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think that is just a beautiful, really vibrant colour, and if I was the type to have me boxes on display, that's definitely a box that I would have on display. That is a really nice looking box. The front end there just looks absolutely outstanding. The side of it has Rocket on, and this is like an indentation just here, a cut out bit for your logo. Same at the top as well, it's an indentation cut out bit for you to be able to grab a hold of it. Now on the back you have your warnings. The other side again is pretty much the same as the first side, and that is obviously now going to be upside down, but Rocket written on there. Let's get the slip cover off, and we'll have a look at the way it looks when the slip cover comes off. And there we go, guys. See what I'm saying about the thingy? I mean, the size of the figure, he's probably out for 5 inches or so. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see him, because obviously you're going to have the glare off my light, and you also can see me in the background, look. So what we'll do is I'll get him out of there, get him on the bench here, and let you have a look at all the accessories you get with him, and we'll go from there, guys. And here, all the accessories, guys. A number of stuff here, so it's not too bad at all. You have to get a couple of guns for each side, which is good. But we're going to start off those with the normal sort of style of things. So this here, I don't know how well you can see how, because they are tiny, but they are spare wrist pegs. Unbelievable. They are just absolutely tiny. You have this one, which, believe it or not, is actually a spare tail peg, because his tail does come out. So they've given you actually a spare tail peg, which I think is good, because you wouldn't like to think that you're going to remove the tail that often, but maybe you do for some reason. These are what shock us. I mean, they are just absolutely flaming tiny. I mean, so goddamn. I mean, you can see the size of my hand and see how size them things. They are just minute, but so much detail in them as well. You know, I mean, you can see the sort of the weathering to them, and they're just so small. I mean, I thought the female character's hands were small. These things are friggin' minute. I'd be frightened I'm going to lose these damn things. That's how small they are, you know. But you do get a lot there for what they are, you know. And you get a few of them. You're getting obviously 2 hands for the one side, and just the 1 hand for the other, which is a crying shame, because I would have thought, you know, why make it out? I mean, obviously you can see that one there is obviously a gun holding hand, which is one of the main things with that character. You know, he's nearly always going to be holding some form of a gun. But look at this thing, man. This is a dynamic flight stand, a dynamic flight pole, and look at the size of it. It's tiny, absolutely tiny, but it's cool. Your waist grabber, again, look at it. It's absolutely tiny. Has got a lot thicker of a padding on there, which I think is good. You know, I think it's really good that they've put that on. That is a lot thicker of a padding, so that should hopefully mean that you're not going to sort of do any damage to the figure. You have 2 different styles of scarf. You've got this one, which, as you can see, is like cast. You know, it's not die cast, it's just cast. It's basically a mold. Yeah, and it looks really cool. I like that. And the other one is actually like a material, but it does have wire in it, so you can pose it and maneuver it around to make it look like it's blowing in the wind or whatever. Yeah, so that's pretty cool for those that like to do that sort of that cool poses where it looks like it could be blowing in the wind and shit like that, you know, for your pictures. So that's cool that you've got that. You've got the ability to do that. This is a strange one, guys. You've got a lightsaber. And yes, before anyone puts in the comments it's not a lightsaber, it's something else, I know I'm taking the mickey. I'm just trying to friggin' play with a few people here because I know it'll trigger them. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. I don't know exactly what it is. You know, if you want to comment down below exactly what it's supposed to be, and don't put in as a lightsaber, because it's not a lightsaber. Well, no, it's not a lightsaber. Right? But I think that's pretty cool, guys. You know, I really do like that. You got these big guns. Now, I'm not going to show you both of the big guns because they're both going to be pretty much exactly the same. You know, again, it's just the details to them. You know, I mean, it's phenomenal how for such a small item you can put so much detail into it and make it look so good. Now, see with this one, there's no moving parts to it. You know, there's no barrel to unhook or anything like that. You know, there's nothing moves on it at all, but it doesn't need to. It is just such a beautiful piece anyway. You know, it is phenomenally detailed. And again, these ones just beautifully detailed, no moving parts again, because it's basically like a laser gun, so it doesn't need moving parts. Yeah, doesn't have any weathering to the end of it like it's been shot quite a few times or anything like that, which is a shame because I think that's something that you could do with these types of things. You know, is sort of like the weathering to sort of say like it's been shot a number of times, but that's cool again. The base wise, you can see it's basically a nice base, it's good enough, though again we've got this thing of not being a metal nameplate, so that's always a crying shame. I don't like it when they do that. Yeah, but you know me, I tend not to use these if I can help it. Though it's already got the actual base plate already in there, which is strange. It's unusual that you do that, but it's in there. And you can still see, I mean, as I said, guys, this is brand spanking new, as you can tell, because it's still got the bloody cover on there. I've had to spend time taking off all the bits of bloody plastic off the character himself. So we've got two sets of these things. Now, I don't know what the difference in these are. You know, whether one's to go on his head and one's to go across his eyes. You know, and that's a slight difference in them because of that. You know, because obviously his top of his head's going to be wider than where his eyes are, so I don't know, but I'll have a look at the instructions and find out exactly how these are meant to go. But again, it's a nice detail that's there, because they are slightly different. You know, very slightly different about the sort of the width, by the looks of it, of the actual. Don't know how well you can. Oh. And it actually got a magnet in them as well, so that's pretty thingy. Yeah, but I think to me it looks like they're sort of slightly different in the way they've done them. So I think one's possibly to go across where his eyes are, and the other one might be just if you want to put them on the top of his head. That's what I'm believing, but until I read the instructions I won't really know. And of course the main part is just look at this thing, guys. Yeah, your nano gauntlet. It actually has got a hole in there, so you probably could put it on him if you wanted to. You'd have to take his hand off, and you could probably slip that on his hand, but I think that's damn cool. It's just a shame that there's no actually articulation in the fingers. You know, it's a crying shame that they didn't go to that level, because that would have been even better again, to have sort of articulation in the fingers, so you could have bent the fingers over and stuff like that. But you know, that's cool piece to have. Yeah, you could have him sort of doing his bit where he's got it tucked under his arm and trying to get away. I think that's really cool. So there we go, guys. That is the accessories you get with this guy. Now it's time to look at the little wee fella himself. And here is the wee fella himself. I mean, you can see he's tiny, but he looks so cool. He really does look so cool. The sort of the actual uniform that's on him looks fantastic. You know, his little belt looks so good. You've got the big things. I mean, look at the size of these things compared to like his hands and what have you. You know what I mean? It's weird how big the thing is off for his guns compared to how big he is. You know, he's a very small character. And one of the things that I do find sort of a bit of a shame is that there's only one head sculpt. That's it. That's the only head sculpt you're going to get with this guy. You know, so that's what you have to make do with, which is a crying shame that you don't get anything else. But I mean, he was a type of character that was continually shouting. And I mean, you can see here that, hopefully you'll be able to see it, that the teeth look absolutely brilliant. The tongue looks really good. It looks wet. Yeah, his face just looks so cool and looks so angry, which is what he's like as a character. Yeah, and these are little whiskers, proper little whiskers there. You know what I mean? So that's cool. Yeah, you got his little tail, which can either have up. You can see it just pops up. It's just straightforward thingy. So you can have it up. It does have actually articulation in the tail because it is a peg, so you can sort of move it and have it in a few different positions. So that's kind of cool, and it looks really good. Yeah, considering it's like a molded piece, it still looks pretty good. It still looks almost like it could be hair. I'm just glad it's not, because obviously that would have just become probably quite unwieldy and just flare out quite a bit. But it's always good to have these pieces not done in that way. Yeah, I think it looks really cool. Articulation wise, you're gonna have a problem with this because this doesn't come off and it's not velcroed on or anything like that, so you won't have much motion, so you can't really bring his arm too far forward because of it. Yeah, and this is, oh, his hand's just popped off. And the same with going out. I mean, you can get it out because it is lifting up a little bit, but it's also trying to push it back down. So let's put his hand back in onto place. Oh, guys. Right, so you're getting an okay amount thing. You've not gotten much going forwards. By the looks of it, you're getting probably almost more going back over than what you get going forwards. You know, but he's such a small character, I've got to be so careful. You get a decent enough bend in the arms, 90 degree, so that's alright. You can need much more than that. You're not going to have much articulation in the hands at all, you know, which is a shame, because if you look the way the gauntlets, or the way the gauntlet is, that's made to fit his hand in a certain way, so you're not going to get motion. Plus the peg is actually sitting back inside of there, so you're not really going to get any motion at all, because look, you can see when you put his hand in, it'll only fit in one particular direction. Okay, so you're going to get no thing there in, but you do get a little bit of twist in that thingy, which is going to be a bit to look out for because of the actual way the uniform is, but you do get it. Oh, and his hand's popped off again. Yeah, so it's obviously got one of those things where it's going to have an issue keeping a hold of the thing, I think, properly by the looks of it, which is a crying shame. You've got no waist type of articulation to it because this is like padded out. This part of his uniform is padded out, so you're not going to get anything there. His head and his neck are sort of two separate pieces. As you can see from the back here, you've got two separate pieces, so you're going to get the motion in the actual neck itself and then a little bit of motion in the head itself, but not a great deal because of the way the head is. It's cut straight across, so you're not going to get much in that, but you do get a little bit, so you can sort of look up a bit, like he's, I mean, that way there, if you're doing like that, it makes it look like he's laughing. Yeah, so you're not stuck with him looking angry. He could look like he's laughing if he's when his head's back like that, you know. So that's pretty good. It can sort of, it doesn't have to always look like he's completely angry all the time. Yeah, but the feature wise for going forwards, yeah, it will go forward a decent enough way. It comes back probably the same as most Hot Toys does, not a great deal. No. Foot wise, yep, again you're getting a decent enough movement back on the knee, though it is hindered by the fact you've got this here and the one on his knee itself, which luckily that one does move, so you're going to, it's not sort of totally hindering it, but it is sort of catching against that one, which causes a little bit. The boot, you can see, is split boot, so you're going to get plenty enough articulation there, though you can't get much going backwards or forwards because of the way the actual boot is. You know, you're not getting loads, but you're getting enough to get him to stand up if you want him to stand up on his own. Okay, and like I say, the tail, you've got plenty of motion going on with that, you know, so that's pretty cool. And like I say, the detail on him is damn fine. You know, he's a damn good little figure. Yeah, a damn good little figure. You kind of gone wrong. You know, it's just a case of, I did try and get a hold of a Groot to go with him, but I wanted like the original Groot, the big Groot. I did have one on order with somebody. I managed to bring them down to a decent price for what it is, but they ended up cancelling on us. They basically said that when they went to put it in the box, its arm dropped off and he didn't want to sell it that way, so he cancelled the order. So whether that's true or whether he just thinks he can get more money for it by putting it up again, I don't know. I haven't seen it go back, be relisted just yet, so unless he's put it through somebody else, because there is another one up there which does not have listed that it's got a bad arm. So whether it's a case of that he has done that or not, I don't know. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that people aren't that way, you know. He basically offered it as a price and I got it. So guys, I've got this one, but I haven't got a Groot to go with him yet. I don't know what to do with this guy. Maybe I'll try and maybe pose him with me Thor, perhaps. I might get him posing with Thor for now, because that's really the only character I've got that maybe he will go with for the time being. But he looks pretty cool. I'm going to get him now with a couple of accessories on there to see how they look, and then we'll go from there, guys. There we go, guys. So just a quick pose there for you to see what he looks like with the two different styles of gun. You can see we've put the other gun into here and put the gauntlet under his arm. Put the ones up on here rather than on his eyes, because I think the ones on his eyes don't really do much for him, you know. I mean, luckily that's literally, they're just on with their thingy, so it's easy enough to swap out. But I just, to me, they're not sitting on his eyes properly. You know, his eyes are down here and they're sitting higher up, and they don't sit any lower. So to me, it doesn't look quite right for me. I don't particularly like the way it sits. Yeah, and it's a shame that the jaw couldn't be moved. You know what I mean? But obviously, with it being a hard section, plus I think over time you might find that would go a bit funny. But it is a shame that you can't do those types of things with it. There you go, guys. You know, there it is. And I think it looks kind of cute. I think it's a nice looking figure. I've just got to find somewhere for him to go and how I'm going to pose him with them. But I'm kind of liking him, guys. I kind of like him. I think he's pretty good. Let's see where we can fit him in amongst all my stuff. So right now, guys, we're going to have him in here with these fellow Asgardians of the galaxy. Yeah, I don't think he looks too bad in there. You do have a mini Groot in there, so I think he'll do in there for the time being. He looks pretty good in there until there's such another thing comes up that makes it look even better again. When you feel free, if you want to, on any of my social medias, show what you've done with yours if you've got this character, so it gives us a lot of ideas of what I can do with him, how I can pose him, the way I can do him. But that for now is where he's going. That's where he'll stay. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate those that watch, because when you watch a 20-odd minute video, those of you that stay till the end and enjoy them, you don't realise just how much work goes into these things, you know. These videos can take me literally a couple of hours to put it together, and then I can be in the post-processing thing to get it looking even better. It can take us another couple couple of hours, and then processing it through the computer can take another 3 or 4 hours. So it's a long process, guys, for the 20-odd minute video. So I do appreciate those that watch. I really do. You know, it means a lot to us. And anyone that puts any likes on them or anything like that, that's even better again, because that shows real appreciation for what I've put into this thing. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, which will be The Mandalorian. This is the Bearded Nerdy Oaf, and I am out of here, guys.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
What? No. I didn't. I wasn't. Why would I ever say that? I mean,
Okay.